The house stood with an air of forgotten grandeur, its brick facade weathered by time and draped in ivy. The ivy had grown thick over the years, weaving itself into the very fabric of the building as if trying to hold it together. The windows, once clear and bright, were now clouded with dust and grime, giving the mansion an almost haunted appearance. The front door, heavy and ornate, creaked ominously whenever it was opened, as if protesting the intrusion of the present into its storied past. It was a relic of a bygone era, whispering tales of its former inhabitants. Each brick seemed to hold a memory, each room a story waiting to be told. The mansion had seen generations come and go, witnessed countless moments of joy and sorrow, and now stood as a silent testament to the passage of time. Daniel, an architect with a thirst for the past, had purchased the old mansion with dreams of restoring it to its former glory. He had always been fascinated by history, by the stories that old buildings could tell. To him, this mansion was not just a project, but a journey into the past. He imagined the grand parties that must have been held in the ballroom, the quiet moments in the library, the laughter of children echoing through the halls. He relished the challenge, the opportunity to breathe life back into these tired bones. Every creak of the floorboards, every crack in the walls, was a puzzle to be solved, a piece of history to be preserved. He spent hours meticulously cleaning and restoring, bringing back the mansion's former splendor, one detail at a time. Dust motes danced in the beams of sunlight that pierced the gloom of the attic. The attic was a treasure trove of forgotten items, each one a link to the past. Old trunks filled with clothes, boxes of letters and photographs, and furniture covered in dust sheets. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the past and present coexisted in a delicate balance. It was here, amidst the discarded remnants of lives once lived, that Daniel stumbled upon his first clue. He had been searching through an old trunk when he noticed something unusual. Beneath a pile of old clothes and books, he found a hidden compartment. His heart raced as he opened it, revealing a roll of blueprints. Tucked beneath a pile of mildewed canvas and forgotten family portraits lay a roll of blueprints. They were old, the paper brittle and yellowed with age, but the ink lines were still clear and precise. Daniel carefully unrolled them, his excitement growing with each passing moment. The paper was brittle, yellowed with age, but the ink lines were still stark, depicting a hidden world beneath the house. The blueprints showed a complex network of rooms and passages, a subterranean world that Daniel had never imagined existed. He traced the lines with his finger, trying to make sense of the intricate design. The lines on the aged paper seemed to writhe and shift under his gaze, revealing the outline of a subterranean complex. It was as if the blueprints were alive, guiding him towards a hidden truth. Daniel felt a thrill of discovery, a sense of connection to the past that he had never felt before. It was a space that shouldn't exist, a secret buried beneath layers of earth and time. The blueprints hinted at hidden rooms, secret passages, and forgotten treasures. Daniel's mind raced with possibilities. What could be down there? Why had it been hidden? And who had created this secret world? A thrill, equal parts excitement and trepidation, shot through him. He knew that he had stumbled upon something extraordinary, something that could change everything he thought he knew about the mansion. But with that excitement came a sense of responsibility. He had to uncover the truth, to bring this hidden world to light. What secrets did this old house hold? Daniel was determined to find out. He knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, filled with obstacles and uncertainties. But he was ready. The mansion had chosen him, and he would not let it down. The blueprints were just the beginning, a key to unlocking the mysteries of the past. And with each step he took, he felt closer to the truth, to the stories that the old house had been waiting to tell. The blueprints became his obsession. Each night, by the light of his desk lamp, Daniel pored over the faded lines. They spoke of a hidden world, a clandestine laboratory concealed beneath the very foundation of the house. The more he studied, the more he felt an unsettling blend of fascination and unease. The lab, according to the blueprints, was a labyrinthine complex. Its purpose remained shrouded in mystery, the rooms labelled with cryptic symbols and annotations in a language he couldn't decipher. The air in the attic seemed to grow heavy, thick with the weight of unseen eyes. He found himself listening intently to the creaks and groans of the old house, as if expecting it to reveal its secrets. Sleep offered little respite, his dreams haunted by shadowy corridors and the echo of hurried whispers in languages unknown. He was caught, ensnared in a web of intrigue spun decades ago. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Daniel began his search. He started in the basement, a damp and cavernous space with walls that wept with the dampness of the earth. Guided by the blueprints, he discovered a section of the wall that seemed different. The bricks were meticulously laid almost seamlessly, concealing a hidden doorway. With a grunt of exertion, he managed to pry open the hidden entrance. A musty, stale odour wafted out, the breath of a place sealed for ages. A set of stone steps descended into the darkness, each footfall echoing in the oppressive silence. A shiver ran down Daniel's spine, a primal instinct warning him of the unknown. But fear was a weak adversary against the allure of the unknown. He took a deep breath, steeling himself, and stepped across the threshold. The past, it seemed, was waiting. Section 4. Echoes in Latin. The air hung heavy and still, thick with the dust of ages. It was as if time itself had forgotten this place, leaving it to decay and silence. The particles in the air danced in the beam of Daniel's flashlight, creating an almost ethereal atmosphere. This was a place where the past lingered, whispering secrets to those who dared to listen. Daniel's flashlight cut a shaky beam through the gloom, revealing a long subterranean corridor. The walls seemed to close in on him, the darkness pressing from all sides. Each step he took echoed ominously, a reminder of the isolation and the unknown that lay ahead. The corridor seemed to stretch endlessly, a labyrinth of shadows and forgotten memories. The walls were lined with shelves stacked with dusty equipment and leather-bound journals. Each item seemed to tell a story of its own, a fragment of a larger, more complex narrative. The journals, with their cracked spines and yellowed pages, were relics of a bygone era, filled with the knowledge and ambitions of those who had once worked here. The air was thick with the smell of decay and something else, something faintly metallic and ozone-tinged. It was a scent that hinted at experiments long abandoned, at energies and forces that had once been harnessed within these walls. The faint glow that permeated the lab added to the eerie atmosphere, casting long shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. He picked up one of the journals, its leather cover dry and cracked. The texture of the aged leather was rough under his fingers, a tactile reminder of the passage of time. As he opened the journal, the pages crackled softly, releasing a faint, musty odour that spoke of years spent in darkness. The pages were filled with hurried script, a chaotic blend of diagrams, equations, and notes. Each page was a testament to the frantic pace at which the researchers had worked, their thoughts spilling onto the paper in a desperate attempt to capture their discoveries. The diagrams were intricate, the equations complex, hinting at the advanced nature of their work. It was written in Latin, the elegant script both beautiful and unsettling. The flowing handwriting was a stark contrast to the chaotic notes, adding an air of sophistication and mystery to the journal. Latin, the language of scholars and secrets, hinted at the depth of knowledge contained within these pages. Warnings, he realized, his Latin rusty but serviceable, warnings of forces beyond human comprehension. The words seemed to leap off the page, their meaning clear despite the passage of time. These were not just scientific notes, they were cautions, pleas for caution against tampering with powers that were not meant to be understood. As he ventured deeper, each step seemed to echo with the weight of forgotten ambition. The further he went, the more he felt the presence of those who had come before him, their hopes and dreams lingering in the air. The corridor seemed to pulse with a life of its own, a silent witness to the experiments and discoveries that had taken place here. This hidden lab, a testament to clandestine research, hummed with a silent energy that sent shivers down his spine. The equipment, though long abandoned, seemed to retain a residual charge, a ghostly echo of the power that had once flowed through it. The silence was almost palpable, broken only by the faint hum that seemed to emanate from the very walls. The deeper he descended, the more he felt like an intruder, trespassing on forbidden ground. The sense of isolation grew with each step, the darkness closing in around him. It was as if the very air was warning him to turn back, to leave this place and its secrets undisturbed. But curiosity drove him on, a need to uncover the truth that lay hidden in the shadows. Section 5. A Dance with Shadows. The lab was a testament to a bygone era of scientific ambition, a Frankensteinian fusion of gleaming metal and crackling vacuum tubes. It was as if time had stood still, preserving the dreams and nightmares of those who once toiled here. The air was thick with the scent of aged paper and rusting metal, a silent witness to the countless experiments that had taken place within these walls. Daniel navigated through rooms filled with strange contraptions, their purpose lost to time. Each step he took echoed through the empty halls, a reminder of the isolation and abandonment that had befallen this place. The machines, once the pinnacle of innovation, now stood as relics of a forgotten past, their functions obscured by layers of dust and decay. The silence was broken only by the drip of water and the frantic thump of his own heart. The rhythmic sound of the dripping water seemed to synchronize with his heartbeat, amplifying his anxiety. Shadows danced on the walls, cast by the flickering light of his lantern, creating an eerie ballet that played tricks on his mind. He found himself in a large, domed chamber. The architecture was grand yet oppressive, with high ceilings that seemed to stretch into infinity. The walls were lined with shelves filled with books and jars containing specimens that defied explanation. It was a place where science and the arcane met, a sanctuary for those who dared to push the boundaries of knowledge. In the center, bathed in the ethereal glow of flickering gas lamps, was a massive machine. Its design was both intricate and intimidating, a labyrinth of gears and wires that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The machine's presence was almost sentient, as if it were aware of Daniel's intrusion and was silently judging him. It resembled a giant orrery, its metal arms tipped with glowing orbs that hummed with an unnatural energy. The orbs emitted a soft, pulsating light, casting an otherworldly glow that filled the room. Each orb seemed to contain a miniature universe, swirling with colours and patterns that defied the laws of physics. The Latin inscription on its base was Stark ad astra per obscura. The words were etched deeply into the metal, their meaning resonating with a profound sense of foreboding. It was a reminder of the perilous journey that lay ahead, a journey that would take him to the very edge of human understanding, to the stars through darkness. The phrase echoed in his mind, a mantra that both inspired and terrified him. It was a promise of discovery, but also a warning of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. The path to enlightenment was fraught with peril, and only those with the courage to face the unknown would prevail. Daniel felt a cold dread creep up his spine. The air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to close in around him, as if the lab itself were alive and aware of his presence. His breath came in shallow gasps, and he could feel the weight of unseen eyes watching his every move. This wasn't just a lab. It was a gateway, a portal into the unknown. The boundaries between reality and imagination blurred, and Daniel felt as if he was standing on the threshold of another world. The lab was a nexus of possibilities, a place where the laws of nature could be bent and broken. The shadows seemed to writhe and dance around him, whispering of forgotten experiments and the echoes of hubris. They were the remnants of the past, the ghosts of those who had dared to dream too big and paid the ultimate price. Their whispers were a cacophony of regret and ambition, a haunting reminder of the fine line between genius and madness. He was in too deep. Yet the allure of the unknown was a siren's call, pulling him ever deeper into its embrace. The mysteries of the lab beckoned to him, promising answers to questions he had never dared to ask. With each step he felt himself being drawn further into the labyrinth, unable to resist the pull of the shadows that danced around him.